Many business owners want to put their children on payroll, but they don't know if they should or what the key tax advantages are of doing so. In today's video, I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about placing your children on payroll through an LLC, including the best way to do this. If you're someone that is a business owner and you want to make sure your family can be a part of how you grow your business while benefiting from the tax code, then look no further than this video. I'm planning on teaching you exactly how to do this and what pitfalls you need to be aware of to save yourself from Uncle Sam. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, guys, before we jump into today's video, don't forget to sign up for the Tax-Free Wealth Challenge, which will be taking place March 18th through March 22nd. In this event, I'll be teaching powerful tax strategies used by the wealthiest 1% of Americans to reduce their tax bill on a year-in, year-out basis. If you sign up for VIP, you'll be able to speak with me personally about your tax situation, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys on the live call. Without further ado, let's get back to this video. Should you add your children to payroll? Now, there are many reasons why you would consider having your children work inside of your business. Here are some of the most important reasons why parents hire their children inside of their businesses. Number one, it teaches them valuable skills and helps them to learn the value of hard work. Growing up, I worked in my mother's tax and accounting firm, and I was able to learn the value of hard work by picking up staples off the ground, taking out the trash, and also learning how to Xerox and open mail. And as I grew, I started to actually work in her business doing tax and accounting work. Number two is probably a big reason to many families. It sets your family business up to be multi-generational. By being in my mother's tax and accounting firm, yes, I was young and I wasn't able to file returns yet, but I was understanding the importance of having a business, what the roles were of all of the members inside of the office, and more importantly, how to earn a paycheck. You see, some of the largest businesses in the world are multi-generational, and this includes Walmart, Volkswagen, the Ford Motor Company. So I take this very seriously. Having a multi-generational business can be a great thing and a game changer to your family's legacy. And of course, number three, tax breaks. Normally, when you hire an employee or your LLC, you'll have to pay payroll taxes on their wages, which includes FICA. Let's go over the FICA breakdown. FICA includes Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment taxes. This breaks down to 6.2% for Social Security, 1.45% for Medicare, and about 0.6% up to 6% for unemployment, depending on what state the business is located in. But if you have a sole proprietorship, a single member LLC taxed as a disregarded entity, or even an LLC taxed as a partnership that is owned only by you and your spouse, then you can hire your children to work at your LLC, and the IRS provides several key tax breaks that you will be able to receive every single year. For example, if your children are under the age of 18 when you hire them, you won't have to pay any payroll taxes at all for them. Meaning you won't have to pay Social Security, you won't have to pay Medicare, and you won't have to pay unemployment taxes. If your children are over the age of 18, but under 21 when you hire them, then you will have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes, but you won't have to pay the unemployment taxes. So basically, guys, this is one of those situations where the IRS is a little lenient. The IRS sees the value of incentivizing parents to hire their children, and so it creates a tax break to make it a little bit easier to do this. Let me give you an example. To understand how this works, let's pretend that you want to hire your 16-year-old son to work at your law firm during the summer. And imagine that over the course of the summer, you end up paying him or her $10,000 for the year. Without the tax breaks, you would have to pay 6.2% in Social Security, which would be about $620. And 1.45% would be your Medicare, which would be about $145. And let's say that you had 1% for unemployment, which would result into $100. Then this means that due to the tax breaks that the IRS allows for you hiring your children inside of an LLC, you would right off the bat save $865 by not having to pay into FICA taxes. Now, if you have multiple children and if you're hiring them for long-term work under your LLC, then these tax savings can add up, and that's not even including the tax savings that you're receiving by taking the deduction against your ordinary income. In this case, you would also get to deduct the $10,000 that you paid your son or your daughter as a business expense, which would lead to some additional tax savings. Now, I know a lot of you who are watching this video probably have S-corporations. Here's what I need you to know about adding your children to payroll in an S-corp. Unlike LLC owners, S-corporation owners do have to pay payroll taxes for their children, even if the children are under the age of 18. For this reason, I recommend my clients with S-corps to set up an LLC management company if they want to add their children to payroll. Once the management company is set up, the S corporation can pay a management fee to the LLC, and the children can be added to payroll underneath the LLC. Let's jump into the iPad so I can explain. So let's go over paying your children as an S corporation. As an S corporation owner, it may be you, it may be your husband, and you guys are making money inside of your S corporation, and that's completely fine. But if we decide to pay the children through the S-corp, we're going to pay into FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare. And we learned earlier that FICA is 6.2% on the Social Security side and 1.45% on the Medicare side. So we don't want to pay that for paying our children, especially if we have multiple kids. So what we can choose to do is with the S corporation's profits, we can pay a management fee over to the LLC. So that's going to be money that leaves the S corporation's bank account, and then that's money that's going to be going into this new LLC management company that we establish in order to place our children on payroll. Now that we have money sitting inside of this new LLC, we're ready to pay our kids. And if you've been following my videos, you'll know that we can pay children actually up to the standard deduction amount. In the year of 2024, the standard deduction is $14,600. So if we have 3 children, we might move over just enough money to be able to pay out those 3 children through the management company. In this case, it would be $43,800 that we would move over in management fees in order to pay out our 3 children. And this is how you can go about taking the children on payroll deduction the right way without triggering tax when you have an S corporation. Now, how old do children have to be to work in your business? According to the Fair Labor Standards Act, the minimum age to work in the United States is 14 years old in most, but not all cases. Many clients of mine will employ their children before the ages of 18 because those children have an active role in what their parents are trying to accomplish for the business. The Fair Labor Standards Act also restricts the amount of hours that children under the age of 16 can work per week, and it prohibits teenagers under 18 years of age from working in hazardous jobs. Some of the hazardous jobs that you need to be mindful of are coal mining, sawmilling, forestry, operating a forklift, working on or near a roof, trenching and excavating, operating balers and compactors, and much more. So you should not consider hiring your children to work for your company unless the job is safe enough for them and unless they're at least 14 years of age. Now, if you're working with a tax professional, we can show you how to place your children on payroll if they are underneath the age of 18, but I only encourage you to do this if you have legal counsel. You need to be careful. For example, 14 and 15-year-olds are not allowed to work during school hours. They are not allowed to work more than 18 hours per week while in school, and they are not allowed to work more than 8 hours per day, even on holidays or even on weekends. So please be mindful of some of these rules that are in the law. But if you can meet all of the federal regulations for hiring your children, then feel free to hire them in order to benefit from the tax breaks that the IRS provides them and to allow them to gain valuable work experience. All right, now that we covered children under 18, what about children who are over the age of 21? If you have an LLC and if you're thinking about having your adult children come and work for you, then there are a number of different ways that you can do this. Here is a quick breakdown of the most common options. We can hire them as a full-time employee, we can pay them as a contractor, or we can choose to add them as a member to your LLC. Now, this is perhaps the most straightforward way to bring your children into your family business. If your children are over 21, then you will no longer be able to get the payroll tax breaks that you would be eligible for if you were hiring your children between the ages of 14 to 18. In fact, if you hire your adult children who are 21 or over as full-time employees, then they will be treated as standard employees from a tax perspective. What this means to you is that you will have to do all of the following. Number 1, you're going to have to obtain a W-4 form for each employee child and withhold federal and state income taxes. You will also have to withhold FICA taxes to cover Social Security and Medicare and pay them 1.5 times their base rate if they work overtime, which means more than 40 hours per week. Plus, you'll have to pay any relevant unemployment taxes. If your company offers benefits such as health insurance, 401ks, life insurance, then you should also give them to your children. But the second way in which you can hire your children is also paying them as an independent contractor. Because if you don't want to take your child on as a full-time employee, then hiring him or her as an independent contractor is another potential option. If your child is an independent contractor, then he or she will be able to earn money and be a business owner. You will not have to provide your child with a full-time salary or benefits for him or her, but they will be considered an independent contractor and self-employed. And this could be a great way to teach your child how to start running their own business as an independent contractor. And then number 3 is just adding them on as a member. This option is the most extreme and has the potential to change your business the most. However, for some families, this is the best option. If you add your child as a member of your LLC, it will give him or her a share of ownership of your LLC. Usually people do not do this right away as soon as their child leaves school and starts working for the business. However, many families choose to go this route at a certain point after their children have been working in the company for a long period of time, typically between 10 to 15 years. After you've gained ample experience and you know the ropes, then stepping into an ownership role only makes sense. But are there any downsides to adding your children as members of your LLC? You see, some people find it inadvisable to do business with family because business arguments can sometimes spill over into family and harsh relationships can come out of this. However, many other families thrive well working together and they grow even closer. I know that this happened for my family and I'm lucky that it did. So if you're not concerned with business potentially harming your family relationships, then adding your child as a member of your LLC could be an excellent decision that you decide as a family. But here are some things to watch out for. Now that we talked about the benefits of putting your child on payroll, let's talk about some of the other things that you should just be mindful of that can end up hurting you. Number 1, your children must actually do something in your business. I cannot express this enough. Some people try to add their children to their payroll underneath their LLC without actually assigning any real work or responsibility to their children. And oftentimes when people do this, they are trying to capitalize on some of the tax benefits of having a child on payroll without actually having their children do any business work. But just a heads up, the IRS has already caught on to this. And if the IRS suspects that you're just employing children to reduce your tax bill, they will disallow the expense and you will pay taxes plus penalty fees plus interest on the tax that is late. Keep in mind also that just because the work has to be legitimate, it doesn't mean that it has to be extremely complex. Your children can be doing things like cleaning the office, answering the phone, responding to emails, or just simply picking up staples off the ground like I was doing. But just make sure that they're actually doing some real work for your business. One of the most important keys is to make sure that there is a paper trail for how you pay your children. Some LLC owners do not create a paper trail for the way that they pay their children, and this is a major problem because it prevents you from being able to defend yourself properly in the event of an IRS audit. There are a number of different reasons why an LLC owner may not have a paper trail for his or her child. First, the LLC owner could be paying their children in cash, and second, an LLC owner might have made an agreement with his or her children in which payment would come in the form of a car or contributions to college tuition or something along these lines. And finally, third, sometimes LLC owners forget to pay their children, or they tell their children that they will pay them at a later date. If there is no documentation to show the IRS that you have actually paid your children, then this could get you in trouble with Uncle Sam. Why? No paper trail equals no proof that you actually paid your children in the event of an audit. This is not what you want. So make sure that there's a paper trail and that you put your children on payroll. The easiest way to create a paper trail is to just pay your children with checks or money transfers and to issue a pay stub whenever applicable. These transactions are highly visible and should provide ample documentation if you ever need it. All right, guys, here's the last piece of crucial information that I want you to know about adding your children to payroll. When you hire your children who work underneath the age of 18, under your LLC, they can earn up to $14,600 in income and pay zero federal income taxes on it in 2024. So as long as you don't pay your children more than $14,600 per year, they can start working for your company without having to pay any payroll taxes. And this amount is for the year of 2024. It may adjust in 2025 due to inflation. But even though your children won't have to pay federal income taxes, you will still be able to get to deduct the full amount as a business expense. So it's a win-win situation. If you're really smart, you'll set up a custodial Roth IRA for your children so they have some tax-free dollars waiting for them in retirement. That's it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to sign up for the Tax-Free Wealth Challenge. It's coming up soon and I don't want you to miss it. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.